Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. We're on the 268 PTR and looking at the starting set for Season 20 for the Necromancer, which is of course the Trag'oul's avatar. Now this is one of my absolute favourite sets in the game. It looks absolutely amazing. You get this kind of blood armour, it's really nice. The concept behind the set is also really cool. You build up your life pool, you then exchange life to do more damage. Unfortunately on live the set is complete trash, but with the season theme we can open up the cube and really jack some multipliers. That means that we can do GR75 and T16. And we can do that in about 3 or 4 minutes with 800 Paragon, no augments, and I think level 35 gems. Also there's no need to gear for CDR, so it's quite a simple build to set up. I think Necro's going to be pretty strong for Season 20, early to mid-season, so this should get you off to a pretty good start. Before we begin, a quick word from today's video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. This is a game I've talked about before and have been enjoying over the last couple of months. It's a turn-based collection RPG with over 400 collectible characters. It's got both PvE and PvP, can be played on both desktop and mobile. It's completely free to download and it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed building my champion pool, progressing in the game and trying to overcome all the different challenges. I like that you need to bring different champions to different content, so for example my clan boss team is very different to my PvP team. You always have to think about your team composition for each fight, who's best to bring along in which situation. My favourite character so far is Warlord. He's got a really cool ability that will put the other team's skills on cooldown, absolutely perfect for PvP in the arena, but he's really strong so I'm using him in pretty much all my content at the moment. You get champions by opening shards, so let's open some now and see who we get. Brilliant, Skull Crusher. This is one of the absolute best champions in the game. He's defense based and he's got a counter attack ability, so he's amazing for lots of different content. Absolutely brilliant, really hoping to get him, so made up with that. The link to download is in the description, and if you download in the next 30 days you get some in-game bonuses, 100,000 silver, an energy refill, a 1-day XP boost and a free champion who is the Adjudicator. But she is really good because she has an accuracy aura, so this will buff up accuracy of all your characters. That's a really powerful stat early game and is quite hard to come by, so she definitely will make it easier. So all these goodies will be in the top right hand corner of your screen in your inbox, so go get them and they will help you out. And one last thing guys, pick Kale as your starting champion. He's definitely the strongest in my opinion, so you get choice of 4, so go for this guy. So thanks again to Raid for sponsoring, I wish you the best of luck in the game and maybe I'll see you in there. So we'll look at the GR build first, which is a little bit squishy because at the end of the day guys it's still Necromancer, but jumping into the gear, the Trag'oul set, the 2-piece, we get Blood Rush gains the effect of every rune. That's really nice. Blood Rush is probably one of the better mobility skills in the game. So the runes on it give us extra armour, so 100% armour for 2 seconds. Transfusion will heal us as we go through enemies, so if you're low on health and you teleport through a big group of trash, you'll pretty much heal yourself up to full. Molting will give us an extra corpse, so this will be left at our location. Not the most amazing thing for this build, but still reasonably useful. Homeostasis removes the health cost. That's absolutely great because metabolism would normally double it and give us an extra charge, but because of homeostasis it doesn't cost any health, but we just get 2 charges. Now I'm a bit of an idiot, I often teleport into things that I shouldn't, so having an extra charge to get out of trouble is very handy. The 4-piece, whilst at full life, our healing from skills is added to our maximum life for 45 seconds, and we gain up to double life, so 100% extra on the health. Now it's not quite a doubling of toughness, it doesn't work out quite exactly the same, but it's not that far off and it'll last 45 seconds, so it will be up pretty much the whole of the rift. Now again, for the GR version, when you get into the rift, it's not going to be up, you're going to be a little bit squishy, but you're just going to have to heal yourself up and then get this effect, and that's how that works. Now the 6-piece, our life spending abilities deals 3,800% extra damage and our healing from skills is doubled essentially. Now this is the cool bit of the set, so we use life spending abilities. The downside is it restricts us severely in terms of skills and runes that we can choose, but that's kind of the trade-off with the set, and I do hope that this is on Blizzard's to-do list to be looked at, because 3,800 without the season theme probably isn't enough. Our blood spending ability is going to be Blood Nova, but if you are astute you will note that it's not on the bar, but we have taken Siphon Blood and we're going to be using the Iron Rose offhand, so when we attack with Siphon Blood we get a 100% chance to cast a free Blood Nova. This is free for both essence and life, so it doesn't actually cost any life to hit with Blood Nova. Now Blood Nova is on the secondary skills. deals 450% damage to enemies within 25 yards, so it has got quite a nice area of effect, and this 10% health cost would be quite costly, so it's quite handy that the Iron Rose removes that for us. Now the Death Nova is being primarily juiced up by the Blood type blade. This is going to have to go in the cube. 400% increased damage for every enemy within 25 yards. You can get an absolute boatload of enemies in this radius. This multiplier can easily hit 4,000, 8,000%, and you will just completely nuke enemies if there are more than a few around. So really nice, does an absolute lot of damage. As it's a secondary skill, we're going to take Scythe of the Cycle, so this will buff it up by another 400% provided we have Bone Armor active, so that's going to be on the bar as it is with pretty much every Necro build. But yeah, another 400% multiplier. This can go on the character. It's a toss up between whichever rolls better, that or your Trag'oul's Corroded Fang. This will give you up to 200% extra damage for enemies that are affected by curses. We're going to take Aura of Frailty on the bar, so provided something gets within 15 yards of us, it's going to get this cursed effect on it, and we're going to get extra damage from the Trag's Fang. So again, another nice multiplier. Also in the cube, we're going to take the Rylena Shadow Hook. This will give us more damage based on our max essence, so it works out to roughly I think 150, 160%, but basically the more essence we have, then the more damage we do. It doesn't have to be in the actual orb, albeit we don't have any spenders, so our essence will be full, but basically you want max essence on your weapon and also on your offhand on the secondary rolls, and try and get it wherever you can in Paragon, passives and all that sort of stuff. And lastly, for the multipliers, as with any Necro build, we're going to be taking Crispin's Sentence. This will give us double damage against slowed enemies and treble that effect against any other CC. So we're going to be using Bone Armor, Dislocation to proc a stun, that counts, and also Land of the Dead Frozen Lands. So those two ways are going to be how we apply the CC for the Crispin's Sentence. So again, pretty big multiplier. Now the way the Blood type blade works is it's amazing for trash, nuking things as we say, not so hot for single target because you only get that one 400% multiplier. Now you can take single targets down, it just takes a bit of time, so to try and make this build quicker, we've basically picked the Corpse Whisper Pauldrons, and we're going to pair that with the Corpse Lance Blood Lance skill. So this is a life spending ability. We use 2% health every time we fire a Blood Lance, and then with the Corpse Whisper Pauldrons we get a multiplier on this. It stacks up to 600% at 20 stacks, but obviously you only gain a stack whenever you fire a Corpse Lance because we're not doing any other corpse consuming at all. So it starts off slow and then it ramps up. Now naturally this doesn't benefit from the Blood Tide or from the Scythe of the Cycle, but the Shadow Hook and the Trag'oul's Corroded Fang will both buff this skill up, so all you need to do is make sure that you get your curse on, so you need to get within 15 yards before you're going to Corpse Lance something, and it should pretty much melt. Now a way to possibly improve the build is to put the Johnstone in. I haven't found one on PTR yet, and to be honest I've made this video like it is because you don't actually need it. The Flavour of Time will do us just fine, but that's another multiplier that you could put on Corpse Lance, but as you're only really using it for the Rift Guardian, it maybe is a bit of a waste of time to take it because we're not gearing for cooldown at all. And besides, the Flavour of Time is a pretty useful item. We basically get double the duration of pylons. You're really hoping to get a shield pylon because that's going to be Necro's best friend with this kind of build. Nemesis Braces, we need to get physical damage on here, but other than that they're just going to give us extra elite champions, really great for progression and for DBs on the T16 build. We have to take the Rogue on the character. It sucks, but we want 3 weapons in the cube, so it has to go on. Default rolls on this are rubbish, it just always is, and you just got to make up with having a rubbish gear piece. And then lastly, Dainty's Binding to give us a doubling of toughness whenever we have a cursed enemy. So again, up close and personal, Aura of Frailty puts the curse on for us, we get this 50% damage reduction, pretty nice. Legendary gem wise, we've gone for Trapped, as this will give us a flat damage increase provided we're up close and personal. We're going to be doing that a lot with Nova anyway, so it just seems to make sense. We've got Bane of the Powerful giving us 20% extra damage once we kill our first elite. We also get increased damage against elites and increased damage reduction. And the last gem, I've got the Gizzard in just to give us some life per second and a little bit of a shield, trying to boost up our toughness a little bit. But you could take a Xyr Stone of Vengeance if you wanted to try and get the curse on and then make a bit more out of your Corpse Lance, but to be honest you don't really need it, so this is kind of why I've gone for that. Gems in the gear are Topaz for pants, Topaz for your chest piece, and then because we don't really need any cooldown I've gone for Life Gem in the helm just to try and eke out a bit more toughness. So looking at the skills in detail, Siphon Blood, Drain Life, this will give us a 12% heal because remember our healing is doubled from the Trag'oul set. There is an argument for pretty much any rune on here except for Power Shift. This doubling of damage only actually applies to the Siphon Blood, so that doesn't really do anything for us, but Bloodsucker would suck in health globes, so that's fairly useful. Suppression would be a bit more of a defensive option if you wanted to slow a target trying to get to you. And Purity of Essence would also eke out a little bit more damage because you would be increasing your max essence, and that also would help for your rolling in Shadow Hook. Hey guys, it's Filthy. Just doing the editing for this, and I realise I've made a mistake. Siphon Blood Purity of Essence does not increase your max essence, it just gives you more essence when you generate it. Obviously, that's a mistake, ignore it, don't use this rune. I think I was recommending the other one anyway, and I will repeat this mistake a little bit later, but just remember, don't use this rune, it doesn't actually increase your max essence. Sorry about that, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I personally find that when I do want to stop and do some damage, if I'm doing damage over a little bit of time, this is the best one, but as I say, Purity of Essence would be okay, and Bloodsuck would also be pretty good. For the Corpse Lance, Blood Lance, we have to take this, it's a blood spending skill. We're going to get an extra Blood Lance, but it's going to cost 2% of our health, so our health will go down pretty quick whilst we fire these off. So again, that's another reason the Gizzard is a useful gem. Aura Frailty we've pretty covered, so that's pretty good. Bone Armor Dislocation, this is on a 10-second cooldown, it gives us 30% damage reduction, and it has a stun for the Crispin Sentence. One of the downsides about Scythe of the Cycle is that whenever we use Nova, so when we siphon blood and the Nova goes off, the duration of Bone Armor will be reduced, but it's on a short cooldown, so you just need to refresh it, and you want to kind of stun before you blow up ideally anyway, so this will be quite helpful. Blood Rush, doesn't matter which rune we pick, we get all of them, and Land of the Dead Frozen Lands. This is really useful because it will freeze the screen, so I will pop it as soon as I get into the Rift, and then I'll pretty much just save it for the Rift Guardian. You can probably use it again once in the Rift at some point, so when it comes back off cooldown you can press it straight away, but you will need it for the Rift Guardian, it will speed up that fight considerably. And obviously if you get a channeling pylon, then you can use it a bit more often as well. Passive wise, Final Service, you will be using this guys. Necro is squishy, there's not much we can do about that. Overwhelming Essence gives us more damage because of the Shadow Hook in the cube. Standalone will give us more toughness, so we get 100% extra armor, which is a big deal for the Necro, especially as we don't have any pets. And finally we have Blood is Power, so after losing 100% of our life we get 20% reduction off all of our cooldowns. Now it's not the most amazing thing in the world, but if you do proc your cheat death, then it means that you can maybe have an extra go of Land of the Dead. You might want Bone Armor back or Teleport back, so I tend to take that as the most useful, but by all means Dark Reaping would give you some more sustain because you get 2% life per kill, so that would be pretty handy. And then you could also take Spreading Malediction for a little bit more damage, 1% for extra cursed enemies. But really guys, you vaporize trash so quickly, and then you're really Corpse Lancering anything single target down, so they're the passes that I like, but you can swap them if you want. So in terms of rotation, you want to get in the Rift, you want to try and get Bone Armor off, use Land of the Dead straight away just to freeze the screen, make your life a little easier. Enemies will take extra damage as well, so that's nice. Other than that, you pretty much just want to use Corpse Lance from the corpses that are on the ground when you need to for single target, but other than that you're going to stop, siphon blood and explode things with Blood Nova, and it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to play. So jumping onto the swaps for the key farming build, we're going to lose the Dainty's Binding because we don't need the toughness, because we're going to take a gold wrap which will give us huge armor buff whenever we pick up gold. We're going to take out the powerful and put in Boon of the Hoarder, so that when we kill enemies we get gold. These two things will make us immortal. We're going to leave the Gizzard in because this will give us a shield, and the high level of armor that we get from these two items means that the Gizzard bonus won't drop, so the game doesn't register as taking damage. This shield will never go. That's great because we can then take Squirt's Necklace and get a double damage modifier. So the T16 version actually does hit harder because we've got this double damage mod at all times. Other than that guys, I would swap out the gem in the helm to get extra gold. You don't need the life because you're going to be immortal, and then on the skills, because you're not needing any regen at all, I probably would swap out to Purity of Essence for this one, but it's pretty similar. Now one thing I would say, it's probably not the greatest bounty build in the world because without the gold wrap you are a little bit squishy. You probably want to use the GR version more than this for bounties, and again boss fights with kind of animations in them and they're going to be a problem because Land of the Dead will be your main mechanism for killing the boss, and if you use it and then you have to go through an animation and use it again, it's not going to work out too well for you. But it is a powerful build and it will get you on your way to something better, like a Legacy of Dreams version of this, or swapping onto mages, maybe going to an Arius or Rathma or something else. So very much a stepping stone build, but still a pretty good one, and we can do T16 with it, so that's kind of nice. So that about wraps it up guys. Thanks again for watching, thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Take it easy, peace.